This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Tuesday, October 24th, 2023. Even though today feels like it's really in the summer, we're so glad you could join us for today's show. In today's episode, we have coverage from the U.S.-China Sustainable Agricultural Trade Forum, where they signed some contracts as well with ambassadors from China on some trade agreements. We also have a check of that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, we're talking with Jacob Burks of agmarket.net. First off, Jacob, what have we seen going on in the grain markets today?
Oh, Riley, it was another day of a mixed bag trade where you saw corn and wheat run together, but beans had their own agenda here today. And corn, just negativity, regarding, the pace of harvest, some of the numbers that were coming, we're seeing come out of some of the Midwest areas. You also look at just some of the general economic state that we're in. And so we're trading that range. We went up to test the top side of that range 2 weeks through last week, I guess. And today we actually broke through some of the technical support here today. So trading the December corn back down at the low 80 level, down about 7 cents on the day. Wheat market had the same type of story. We saw the December wheat trade down 8.5 cents today. We're kind of on top of some of the moving average support lines. But the story of the day was the bean market, where bean meal just really rallied, took off. We ended up closing the bean meal $13.50 higher. 434 is where we closed that, with drug the beans along about 7 or 8 cents higher on the day as well.
And then something that could, offer some more support to that bean market potentially is we got some reports from the CEO of AMPM talking about the situation in Argentina and how, they're really not painting a good situation as far as soybean planting for them goes down there. So could that be a situation to monitor as we look through these soybean markets?
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, if you're monitoring the grain situation, you're not looking at South America. It's you're not looking at the right spots. And the story last year was about the lower production, about half of normal production, and that they're the ones that provide the world most of the soybean meal, and they weren't able to do that. So they've been actually importing some beans from Brazil to crush, but that capacity just can't keep up. And so there's need for capacity across most of the globe, as far as soybean meal and that type of protein, and looking at alternatives. But right now you're looking at the dryness continuing. So the wheat yields were lacking there again this year because they did not get the moisture needed through the winter. And you're also looking at the planting pace that they're going to look at for the main staple of crops down there in the soybeans, and they don't plant if they don't have the moisture. It's not something that they rush in to get aggressive planting, so they have to wait for moisture there too. So sounds like there's been some good rains, some decent rains, maybe not as much as what they thought, according to some of the other reports that I saw this morning too.
And then, of course, thinking of harvest progress here in the States, now we have for the rest of this week pretty good chances for rain. So, I mean, are we going to see maybe a little bit of fear coming to the marketplace from that as well?
I think it'll be, led in the basis a little bit. Some of the areas needing to fill boats or needing to fill trains. They're not sending much down the boats, but some of the processors are going to have to bid up if it's not rolling in as fast. But we've had a fast pace so far. We're not behind, but that's the thoughts that we could see that continuing. The eastern part of the Corn Belt has struggled a little bit more. One of the reasons they've struggled so much more is they've had the moisture and it's just not dried down as fast. And so, but they're looking at some really good yields out there. So I feel like from what I've talked to with the guys over there in the eastern Indiana, some of the Ohio levels, they're excited to get in there, but they're having to be patient a little bit. And now they're going to see some more rain continue and slow them down some even more.
And then on the other side of the markets in the livestock complex, obviously, not a ton of great news from those markets, but what have we seen going on there today?
By asking that, you know how to ruin a good conversation, Riley, but we'll go ahead and chat. It was a very destructive day. It was a choppy back and forth trade. We saw the market open up. It took out some of those stops. It ran some markets down $2 or $3, but then it rallied. It found some stability. Even went $3 higher than feeder cattle, $2 higher than fat cattle. But throughout the day, we just chopped back and forth. And it was a pretty violent move. I mean, we were moving a buck at a time. It was a heavily traded market, so volumes were high. The feeder cattle yesterday, we saw what we thought was fun liquidations, and it very well could have been, but open interest actually grew. So there was a lot of question marks about what's going on in this trade. When you trade some thinner markets like feeder cattle, you can get some unexplainable moves, and that's kind of what we're in the middle of right now. So there's just a ton of pressure in the proteins right now, and it didn't. Front months were relatively strong. We ended up closing the October feeder cattle, $1.80 higher. We saw fats $1.70 higher in the front months. But from those placements and where that will be taking place in the report that we saw on Friday, where they will be coming to market, those deferred contracts really took another day down here.
And then the hogs haven't been as much of the forefront of discussion lately, but how are those markets looking?
I think that's been kind of one of the slower, steady declines that across that whole complex. You're continuing to see ample inventory. You're continuing to see cutouts just continue to lag behind. So therefore, you're seeing a lot of pressure in the hog market, and that continued again here this week. Again here today, down $1 in the April contract.
All right, Jacob, lots of great information today. For those of our listeners and our viewers who'd like to get in touch and learn more from the folks at agmarket.net, how can they do that?
Hey, just take a look at our website there, agmarket.net. Take a look at our 30-day free trial. You can look at the About Us section and find any of our emails there. We'd love to chat with you and love to show you around what we offer on our free trial.
Great talking with you as always, Jacob, and we look forward to hearing from you again soon.
Hey, thanks for having me, Riley. Appreciate it. Have a good week.
That again was Jacob Burks of agmarket.net. We'll go ahead and take a look at how those numbers close. That's courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. December corn is down 6 1/4 at $4.84 even. November soybeans up 8 1/2 at $12.95 1/4. December soybean meal up $13.70 at $4.3420. Soybean oil down 62 cents at $51.32. Chicago wheat down 6 3/4 at $5.80 1/2. Minneapolis spring wheat down 9 1/2 at $7.28 1/4. Kansas City hard red wheat down 7 3/4 at $6.63 even. December oats up 4 1/4 at $3.89 3/4. On the Merc, December live cattle up 27 at $178.62. November feeders down 37 at $235.42. December lean hogs up 20 cents at $66.37. Pork cutout went unchanged at $76.20. And October Class 3 milk up 2 cents at $16.88. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association, and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, we have some of the coverage from that agricultural trade forum where they were signing contracts, trade contracts with China. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Here in Des Moines yesterday, various soybean organizations from across the country hosted the Chinese ag ambassador, to sign some soybean trade agreements and get some more discussion going on there, as well as celebrate the partnership that they've had for quite a while now. The U.S. Soybean Export Council CEO Jim Sutter has more.
We have not had a gathering like this, a signing ceremony, for several years. It's been quite a while since we have done it. 6 years, I believe. So we're thrilled to be doing it again, and it's just great to be together, especially on the front end of the Borlaug Dialogue, this World Food Prize, because it's a time to celebrate and advance sustainable food and nutrition, and trade plays such a critical role in making that happen for people around the world. And I think those of us who work in the trade industry, we all hear these anti-trade voices talking about how trade is a bad thing, how countries should focus on being self-sufficient. If you think about China and the US, they are a great example of how trade works and how important trade is. A country that has almost 20% of the world's population, 9% of the arable land, and they have done a great job creating great food security in their country through the power of trade. And so I think it's a great example for us to hold up. I also just want to make, and my comments are going to be very brief. As I said, we're on a tight schedule. I'm passionate about these things. I could talk for a long time, but I won't. But I just want to talk about the importance of this China-U.S. cooperation in the soybean industry and in other grain-related industries, the agricultural industry. It produces a positive impact for both countries. And it fully demonstrates the mutually beneficial results that can happen. Obviously, food and nutrition security, but many other financial and social benefits as well when we work together. And I believe that this can be an example for the kind of relationship that is so important for China and the United States to have. I've heard that President Xi calls out 3 particular things. He talks about having good relationships when you have mutual respect, when you have a positive working relationship and collaboration, and when you try and create a win-win relationship. And I think that's what we have done in the agricultural industry. And so I think that is such a great example. I think we need to make sure that we communicate that to other industries so they can see that happening. For example, China is the largest importer of agricultural products in the world, with a total annual of U.S. agricultural products, as well as being largest in the world. But they import $40 billion of ag products from the United States. And in the case of soybeans, that has grown from nothing in 1995. China was not an importer until it started in 1995. And today they take 60% of the global trade of soybeans. So think of that, think of the growth, and that has created huge business opportunities and food for the population of China. During that time, U.S. soy production has grown from 59 million tons to around 120 million tons. So U.S. soy production has grown as well. So these results that I'm talking about, they're built on cooperation and trust. And that has been developed through the relationships that have been cultivated over 40 years of our organization and the U.S. Grains Council working together with China. And that is a long time. 40 years is a long time to build a relationship. And we've had many experiences with our partners CFNA, many events, many opportunities to have discussions, some of them easier than others. Sometimes in a relationship, in a business working thing, you have to have tough discussions. And that's sometimes necessary. But we have come through all of those, and we have very good relationships. So at USSEC, and I'm sure in the rest of the agriculture industry in the United States, we look forward to the next 40 years of collaboration and further improving this working relationship and building on it, using agricultural trade as the ballast for this overall trade relationship, not just trade, between China and the United States. But I see this event happening here today, first time in many years we've had an event quite like this, as a great way to build on the relationships that I see our overall governments trying to form. So I look forward to that. This is a great example of being able to do that.
That again was Jim Sutter, the CEO of the U.S. Soybean Export Council. As for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at that ag weather outlook. It is unseasonably warm right now, and of course, you know that probably means there's going to be some rain following it, and looking into the sky and into the forecast for the rest of the week, looks like that rain is going to stick around for a little bit and cause some pretty big inconveniences for farmers trying to get out in the field. So let's see what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. As you can see from the National Weather Service, today we have a chance for thunderstorms in the northwest. Otherwise, there are widespread chances for rain, highs ranging from the low 70s to about 80. Tonight, chances for showers and storms increase, lows ranging from the low 50s to low 60s. And tomorrow, widespread rain continues across the state, highs ranging from the mid-60s to mid-70s. And taking a look at the affiliate weather map for tomorrow, Cherokee will see cloudy skies and then chances for rain, a high of 65. Shenandoah, rainy skies and a high of 76. Des Moines, a chance for showers and a high of 73. Waterloo, a bit of rain and 70. Albia, showers and 72. And Clinton will have a likely chance for showers and a high of 70. You can find a more detailed forecast in your part of the state by checking in with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And if you're not sure who your local affiliate is, go ahead and go on over to iowaagnet.com. We have a tab there for all of our affiliates, and you can find their contact information. And of course, you can find our 5 daily ag news stories there as well, and the rest of our daily content. And you can find us on social media, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok. And go ahead and head on over to YouTube to find our daily video product, AMPM, which you're watching right now. You can find the rest of the videos there as well, so subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well our free Twice Daily Market podcast on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson, Dustin Huffman, and Andy Peterson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.